We are in spooky season, and what are spooky movies almost best known for? Their crappy sequels. Well, it seems like the Black Phone is turning that on its head because it blew the box office out of the water with a huge 26.5 million US open and 42 million globally, which is actually 142% more than what their budget was in its first 2 days. This comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. They say Scott Derrickson's Black Phone 2 delivered horror maestro Jason Blum a major win in opening to a better than expected 26.5 million domestically from 3,411 theaters and 15.5 million from 72 markets overseas for a global start of 42 million against a modest only $30 million production budget. The Pix's debut follows a string of misses for the Universal-based banner, culminating with the pricey flop of Megan 2.0 earlier this year. The sequel easily came in number one in North America ahead of Disney's tentpole Tron Ares after being credited by critics for expanding the Black Phone universe and scoring strong audience exits, including a B cinema score. That's a great grade for horror genre. Also notable, Latinos, the most frequent moviegoers in the U.S., made up the largest segment of the audience at roughly 39%. Internationally, Mexico led all markets with 4.3 million in a huge number for a horror title. So it seems like Mexico and Latinos, they like a good scare. And this
they
one
want to get scared.
really worked for them. The sequel returns Ethan Hawke as the serial killer known as Grabber and Mason Thames as Finn. In the follow-up, the sinister killer seeks vengeance on Finn from beyond the grave by menacing his younger sister, Gwen, who is played by Madeline McGraw. Black Phone, the original, opening in 2021, when cinemas were first recovering from COVID-19, started off with a 23.6 million in North America, on its way to turning into a sleeper hit, amassing more than 161 million worldwide ticket sales. And that was before horror fatigue struck at the box office. So it seems like this is not just a sequel. This is the beginning of a new horror franchise saga that we are seeing in our midst. And it looks pretty exciting. And it looks like Latinos really like a good scare. So, I know you're not a big horror guy, but what do you think about these numbers for an unassuming horror sequel? And what do you think this means for this, Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames led franchise moving forward?
I mean, I think it's what we discussed one of the streams we did before where
I know what you're talking about. No,
that like low budget horror,
definitely
low to mid tier budget.
It was with The
horror.
Conjuring.
Yeah, is like it's like why
Sweet
stop doing
spot.
it? Yeah, it's a total sweet spot for cinema goers. Again, just to recap, like people love when they want, people who love getting scared. It's even more fun when you have a whole bunch of other people experiencing it at the same time. That being said, not having seen the first Black Phone, I don't know this character. I've just seen the trailers and I know, he's creepy. It's like a creepy mask, like a very iconic looking mask. It's awesome. And the voice that Ethan Hawke does for the character sounds creepy. It works. It totally fits the formula. And then I didn't realize this. I was just Googling here when you were talking that I didn't realize Derrickson not only did the first Black Phone, but he also was director on Doctor Strange. Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay. So he's got enough. He already has his street cred, that he's done these movies before, and he can also do a big budget. And I like the first Doctor Strange. So,
well, he did Sinister too, right?
He did do Sinister. Yeah, that's what it says.
Ethan Hawke as well, and so it's more that I feel like Marvel was trying to get their cred by hiring such a well-known starting horror director that they wanted to infuse that movie. I have heard things from before that he maybe did not get to do everything that he would have liked to do in a Doctor
Hmm.
Strange movie. But I really think that that Doctor Strange movie is really good
Yeah,
in
the
the
first one was
sense
good.
that the flow of the movie is really good. And I think what Scott Derrickson is really good at doing is allowing the audience to invest themselves in the story and the characters over time and not hit you so heavy handed right away. And so I think that just lends really well to the storytelling within his movies.
Yeah.
With the first one, it was a surprise hit and I really enjoyed it. And my wife,
The first
who,
Black Phone.
yes, she's not a horror fan as well, she really
Yeah.
enjoyed it too. And this is more a little bit more grounded in the sense that the grabber is an ongoing, uncaught killer. So he's
Hmm.
not caught yet. He's not in the afterlife or anything like that. And he steals, little boys and kills them. And so this one little boy is trapped down in the basement with a random payphone or a phone or something like that. And when it rings, it's actually the ghost from boys that he's killed before. And he
Ugh.
works together with the little boy ghost to save himself and get out of there. And in doing so, spoiler 5 years later, but
Yeah.
obviously the grabber doesn't make it, hence the synopsis of the second one. And now it's more of a Nightmare on Elm Street, where he is actually haunting him from the grave, wanting to get his vengeance. Instead of a final girl, this is the final boy, right? He's probably going to be that, Jamie Lee Curtis
Mm.
throughout this saga, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really cool that not only are people liking it, but people are going to the theater to see it, which is a big difference, which we're going to get into with a Leonardo DiCaprio led movie, which is not a foregone conclusion anymore. If it's a good movie, does not equate to a good box office. So
Right.
this is a happy surprise for the horror genre
Yeah.
and for movie going in general.
Well, I think, it's smart because with horror movies, you've got Halloween. That season is like, it helps the stars align easier
Yeah.
for studios to like, okay, we got a shot here. This is Halloween. People are looking for this genre, while for the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, that doesn't really. I mean, it has a genre, but it's like not. There's no season for that kind of
Yeah. It
post-apocalyptic,
is. It's harder.
depressing thriller.
No,
And then I go back to like, I mean, if you think of all the horror movies that are iconic, if you have that one character, the villain,
mhm.
and he has a distinct look, you think of Scream, you think of Freddy Krueger, you think of Jason.
Yeah.
It's whether it's a mask or a
Mike Myers.
look. Yeah, that's gold right there. That makes me think I need to write a horror movie and just create a really cool looking,
Yeah.
really cool villain. And then the masks, I'm sure these masks are going to sell like crazy during Halloween too. You know what I mean? So there's that built into it with the season.
Yeah. No,
So it's really smart.
100%. But I really think in order to really sell, it has to be a good movie because there are people that have tried that before, even back when slasher started getting really big with Scream, like urban legend became a thing and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it's like
But what are the iconic characters in that? They don't have like an iconic villain,
exactly.
right?
No, that
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, urban legend, it was like, oh, the hood and blah blah. And then
Yeah.
I Know What You Did Last Summer was like the fish hook and the
Yeah.
hood. And it was
Yeah.
just like it's like you need to think about how can you get this to be like iconic, and it
Yeah.
doesn't always work. And so when it does, it's like, wow, like they did it. Scott
Yeah.
Derrickson did it. He has another hit franchise on his hands.